Are you thinking about moving to Caroline County and considering potentially Lake Landor? Well, in this video, we're going to share with you all the reasons why you might want to consider moving here and some reasons why it might not be the best option for you. So stay tuned. Our channel is all about living in the greater Fredericksburg area, and we put out new videos every week about living, working, eating, playing here in the greater Fredericksburg region. So subscribe to our channel, tap that little bell icon so that you never miss a video. And by the way, we get calls all the time from people who are looking to move to the Fredericksburg area, and we absolutely love it. We love helping those people. If that's you, if you're thinking about moving here, if you have questions about living here, you need to buy or sell a home here, call us, text us, email us, send us smoke signals, carrier pigeon, we don't care. We answer all of our messages and can't wait to help you. Well, today we're going to walk and talk about Lake Landor in Caroline County, and that's the beautiful Lake Landor that you see behind me there, albeit with ice on it, which is not necessarily the best time of year to think about lake living, but it's December, it's cold, and there's ice on the lake. Oh well. Here we go. So let's talk about why you would want to consider Lake Landor as someplace that you might want to move. First is the number one draw to probably any community in Caroline County is the cost of living and the cost of housing. When you consider the whole Fredericksburg region, then Caroline County probably has the lowest cost of living and the lowest cost of housing. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit. But another reason to consider Lake Landor is it's a pretty amenity-packed neighborhood. Actually, that's the pool behind me there. We just left the beach area on the main side of the lake. But there's a lot of amenities in Lake Landor. There are 2 pools, 2 beaches, 2 clubhouses, a workout room, an archery range, a skeet range, tennis courts, basketball courts, I don't remember if I mentioned it or not, but a workout room, a small workout room, playground. Of course, there's the main lake, Lake Landor, and the smaller lake, Lake Heritage, and then a variety of other ponds that you can fish in and so forth. So it's a very amenity-packed neighborhood. Of course, that comes with the price of an HOA as well, that we'll talk about in a second. But another reason that people move to Lake Landor is its location, especially if you are commuting south to Richmond. Lake Landor is just a much better option than some of the points further north, like Fredericksburg or Stafford, because Lake Landor is in Caroline County, which puts you pretty much midway between Fredericksburg and Richmond. So if you're commuting south for anything, Lake Landor is a pretty good option for that. So really, it's the cost of living, cost of housing, a lot of amenities in the neighborhood, especially for the price of housing. If you compare the amenities in Lake Landor to amenities you get in neighborhoods further north, you're going to pay a lot more for those homes than you would in Lake Landor. Now, some of the negatives, if you are someone who really enjoys nightlife, there's virtually none in the proximity here. In fact, I think the only place that I know of that you can sit at a bar in the Ladysmith area is at a restaurant called the Timbers. And I don't know too many people who do that, but I know there are some. So if you're a person who likes nightlife, there's not a whole lot here in Lake Landor. Another negative is the HOA I mentioned. It's fairly pricey compared to some others in the area. I think the 2023 HOA dues are just under $1,200 a year. And of course, like I said, for all of that, you get all the amenities I was talking about. You also get security. Lake Landor is a gated community, so you do get the security at the gate, and they do a roving patrol as well. But that $1,200 a year is a little difficult for some people to swallow. When you factor in that into your monthly budget, you're adding, somewhere in the neighborhood of $100 a month to your expenses. Now, not so much on this side. We're on the main side. Lake Landor is broken into two parts. You have the Lake Landor side and then the Heritage side. On the Heritage side, you have essentially what we'll call public water and sewer. But they are provided by a company called Aqua. And one of the chief complaints about anybody who lives in Lake Landor on the Heritage side is the water and sewer bill. It is considerably higher than just about anywhere else that I know of. I personally live in Lake Landor and I've owned a house here for, 28 years or so. And it wasn't always high water and sewer bills like it is now, but it's fairly expensive. I think my personal monthly water and sewer bill runs somewhere in the neighborhood of $140, $150 a month, something like that. The majority of that is sewage, the sewage cost. And that is probably one of the chief complaints that you hear from people who live in Lake Landor. Having been a resident here for 28 years or so, I can tell you it's always been a pretty safe neighborhood from my personal experience. It's one of the small fishing ponds right there we're walking by right now. But that's some of the reasons why someone might consider moving to Lake Landor, and some of the reasons you might consider that this really isn't the place for you. But if you're still with me and Lake Landor is still an option for you, let's talk about where it is. So Lake Landor is in the Ladysmith, Virginia area of Caroline County. Caroline County and Ladysmith are approximately 30-minute drive south of Fredericksburg, and somewhere in the neighborhood of 45 minutes north of Richmond. It's like I said, it's fairly equidistant between the two. So Ladysmith has some limited shopping options. You've got a grocery store, Food Lion. You've got Tractor Supply, a couple dollar stores, CVS Pharmacy, things like that. But if you want to do any other shopping, you're going to have to go north or south, approximately 25 minutes to Ashland if you go south, 25-30 minutes to Richmond if you go north. Fredericksburg if you go north, rather. So it's middle way between Fredericksburg and Richmond. I said, it's a great location, especially considering the cost of housing and the cost of living for those people who are commuting south to Richmond. So if that geographical area works for you and you're still hanging with us after we talked about the pros and cons of the neighborhood, let's talk about housing here. So the interesting thing about Lake Landor from a housing perspective, well, let's talk about price. So this year, the average cost of a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home in Lake Landor has been right around $300,000. That's up probably $45,000, $50,000 over the last several years, but we've seen a pretty good increase in home prices over 2021 and 2022. Lake Landor has been no different. We've seen that same spike here as well. But there is that's loud. There's a pretty wide variety of homes here in Lake Landor. You have homes that were built in the 70s, 80s. Kind of like that one back there behind me. I don't know if you can see it or not, with T111 siding, small 1,000 square foot, 1,100 square foot homes, single level. Sometimes they have what they call raised ramblers, where there's a basement, but the house sits up high. And then you have newer homes like that one you see behind me there. The subdivision went through a pretty big boom in 2005, 2006. A lot of houses were built during that time, and then over the last couple of years, there have been a lot more come in. There aren't really a lot of lots left here to build on. But point being, you'll see a pretty wide variety of homes in the neighborhood. And there's pretty much something to meet just about everybody's budget. For the water sports, let's head back over to the lake. For the water sports, there are 2 boat ramps on the lake. The main lake, Lake Landor, you can use motorized boats, no jet skis, but you can use motorized boats, and there's a small skiing circuit, and it's small. Lake Landor is not a big lake. It's just a small little circuit that you can ski around. But there's some pretty good fishing in most of the lakes and ponds. My son and I have caught 10-pound catfish out of Lake Heritage. We've caught 5-6 pound bass out of multiple lakes here. The building you see behind me there is the clubhouse on the Landor side. The small gym is in there. There's a small little lending library, so to speak, in there as well. Both sides have pavilions, like that one in the background, that you can rent for private events or just use on a as desired basis, so long as it's not reserved by anyone anywhere else. If you are interested in learning more about Lake Landor, if you have questions about it, you have questions about moving or living in Fredericksburg region, Caroline County in particular, we get calls from people all the time who are moving here. We love that. We love taking those calls. We love helping people. We'd love to help you. If you have any questions at all about living here, moving here, buying a house, selling a house, give us a call. Contact information is in the description below, and I will see you the next time we do a walk and talk through a neighborhood.